How's it going, New World? Sethphir here, and we are back. This time, patch 1.1 Into the Void is live, and there is so much stuff here. It is an exciting time here in New World, as we have lots of new things to play around with, and a lot of things that we've been seeing on the PTR have finally come to the live version of the game. So we have weapon changes, tuning orb changes, monster changes, item changes, everything under the sun is happening right now, so it's definitely an exciting time. So I wanted to share with you some of my thoughts. I've been playing live on the 1.1 patch and even testing out the Void Gauntlet, as you can see I have equipped here. This is definitely a very fun weapon, and it pairs with a lot more things than I thought it did initially. I am currently testing a life-stealing build with the Great Axe, where I have the Great Axe in the main hand, and then I have a Void Gauntlet with the Oblivion skill to power myself up, as well as a Essence Rupture, which will put a debuff on the target that will allow me to heal for 20% of all damage I deal to them. And then to top it all off, I'm running with Petrifying Scream, which is just a stagger and root to stop people from getting away from me. And it is working out wondrously in PvP. This is phenomenal. Dueling one-on-one against this weapon with a Great Axe combo is a nightmare. The potential is endless, and it's really cool to see something like strength and constitution actually being kind of useful on a Void Gauntlet. Who would have thought, like, this weird combo? So I'm trying to find these Void Gauntlets and checking out this stuff. So I wanted to talk about everything that has happened. So I know some of you have maybe noticed that there are some changes to some items within the game, and sadly, my friend Weaver's Knot is one of them. It got the nerf bat. It does not have the double luck buff anymore. It instead has luck and critical chance, which is not bad. It's definitely a very respectable ring. However, I will now need to make a 2.8% luck ring with the socket on it for the 5% pearl if I want to achieve max luck like I have on the rest of my gear, right? So that was definitely a change that caught me off guard. I noticed that the quality of my shield went from purple to blue now, and it definitely kept the same stats, but it looked odd to me, right? It threw me for a loop. So there are several other items in the game that have had some adjustments, and we see a lot of the nerfs coming into the perks, like as you can see my hammer here. Now the shockwave is only reducing armor by 9.5% instead of the 19% that it was doing before, and we do have a bit of point percentages, which is nice to see on a lot of the gear. So that's been really cool. And then the the apocalypse that I have been telling you guys about, the great mote apocalypse, is definitely here now. I told everyone to stock up on motes and anything related to tuning orbed keys. Well, here it is. As we can check out on my server, we can see death motes are now skyrocketing in price, and this is the linked auction house, keep in mind, so that's everywhere. They are now up to 1.15, and I'm expecting them to rise even higher as people realize that they need to create all their keys every week. So that's going to be quite crazy. And the Death Quintessence, which is the one used to make the Void Gauntlet, as well as the keys for Lazarus, is skyrocketing in price as well. These used to be super cheap. They are now upwards to 85, close to 100 gold on a lot of them. So we are going to see a big boom in this sort of pricing, and the corrupted runes and things like that, the tuning orb type keys, are now up to 260 gold each. I bought these a while back for like, I don't even know. I have so many on my second account right now. But I bought them for like 10 gold, maybe 15 gold. Now they're at 260 gold because you can only get 2 of them per day, essentially, like a 23-hour cooldown on these 2 chests in the Mangled Heights and Great Cleave. So that is the chokehold for a lot of the key components. And if you haven't seen my video before where I sat down and talk about the changes, definitely go back and check that out, because all that PTR information is going to be super relevant. And I did a guide on what was going to be coming in the future for tuning orbs and how to make profit on that. So it may not still be too late to get some of this stuff, but make sure you check that out and at least start acquiring it manually in the world. We did see the dropping of essences and motes go up, like the motes are going up, but now you can no longer get quintessence from animals, so there's a lot of cool changes on that. And PvP flagging has 30% gathering luck, which is insane. I got a chunk of Adderstone from a lodestone. That's right, I got chunk of Adderstone, the luck increasing item, from an actual lodestone with 30% gathering luck, which is crazy. And then, of course, you guys are going to hear me say this time and time again, talking about stone cutting. Okay, as you can see here, I've created my Lazarus Orb, right? So I'm done for the week. I've created all 3 of my Genesis Orbs. So I'm down for the week. So I currently have 3 Genesis Orbs plus an additional Lazarus Orb, so I can run a bunch of high-end dungeons. And I tested this. I did a Genesis run. The boxes are now fixed inside of Genesis. You will no longer be getting 500 gear score loot that's really bad from the crates and boxes in there. You will now be getting very high level loot. I did a Genesis run and I got all loot above 580. I did not get a single piece of gear below 580 gear score. So that should tell you where that range is going. And I did receive 2 596 weapons that were pretty much close to best in slot. I got a spear and a gun, and that was just from one single run. So orbs are worth it right now, and you need to be getting these as fast as you can to make sure you get your cooldowns going. So if you have not hit your cap already, start working on it. The next thing I'm working on is going to be the tuning orbs for the arenas. You can make 5 per each week, but I don't know how worth it is currently. I'm going to do it this week, eventually later on today, and I'll let you guys know if it's worth trying to keep up on top of that. But currently, to create all of the tuning orbs, the legendary ones, it took every single shard I had in my possession up until this point just to make those, and I have like 20 extra blues that are remaining, so that's not good. But we did do a little bit of a test run, and we went and did some of the 35 portals and the 45 portals in like Weaver's Fin, and we ran all the way to Restless Shore. We just did like a little loop and we got all these, and it took us about an hour, and we ended up with 27 of the sliver fragments. We ended up with about 4 to 5 of the green ones, about 4 of the blue ones, and 1 purple one. So it was actually quite a good run, as that got me probably, I would say, a legendary or 2 or close to that, especially depending on the procs. And remember, there's a 20% proc chance, but if you have the full Stonecutter set, which you should, if you haven't already, get on it pronto. It's in that video, I cover it. Make sure you get this. You will get a 30% chance instead of a 20% chance, and that will save you so much farming time. It's not even, like, it's unfathomable to not have the Stonecutter set and create these things. So make sure you go and get that. Very, very, very important. So we're going to talk about priorities now that everything is up. Obviously, everyone should be wanting to level up their Void Gauntlet. There's a ton of utility and use for this weapon, so if you haven't gotten it to 20, go ahead and do so. The next thing that you should probably be looking at doing is dungeons. I would go ahead and look towards Garden of Genesis and Lazarus Instrumentality, as these are going to be your best ways to get very high level loot, and it's going to be very nice now, since every expedition chest is dropping a lot of loot. Take advantage of that. I know I see players selling keys for 1k, 2k per entry. It's kind of worth, because the amount of stuff you get from there is crazy, and keep in mind that you can only do 1 Lazarus orb created per week. So you create 1 per week. So once that 1 is gone, that's it. You got nothing else for the rest of the week, unless you're getting a key from somebody else. Granted, you can group up with a group of players and all agree to use your orb, so technically you could run Lazarus 5 times per week, and then pay for any additional if somebody's willing to sell theirs, which is probably what a lot of the players are going to be doing to get their best in slot up all the way. So there are some very nice items coming from Lazarus and Garden, and now that the chests are fixed, you will be seeing them a lot more often, so that is going to be your second priority after leveling up the Void Gauntlet. The third priority is going to be hitting up a lot of these portals, and if you can't do the 65 portals, because they do seem very hard right now, and we'll talk about that here in a second, because a lot of things seem hard right now. Even the Garden run I did was harder than normal. Some of the monsters are hitting harder than normal, but we'll go into that. But you should definitely be getting a lot of these like 25 rifts. These are free, and you get about the same amount of fragments from these as you would a 65. The only difference is the level of the gear from the boxes, but the boxes just aren't that good anyways, to be honest, so you might as well go after the shards. So if you can get the corrupted fragments and the slivers, we got an epic shard from a level 35 box. Multiple of us got epic shards from there, so it is not an uncommon occurrence. So these things are definitely worth, even these 45 portals. Grab a group of 5 and run around and smash those out so that you can keep collecting up your shard count so that you can create your orbs every week and hopefully hit your arena key cap as well. We might even see some better loot, because I'm imagining if they fix the dungeon boxes, they might have fixed the chests from the arenas as well. So I'll test that and let you guys know. But that's going to be your priority, is just pretty much doing your orbs, create your orbs, make sure you get that for your week, make sure you level up your Void Gauntlet, make sure you go into dungeons because dungeons are crazy right now, and of course try to do your chest run at Mangled Height, get those 2 corrupted runes, and all your other chests, because Mirrorguard and, you know, the mines and sirens, that's going to be just insane value as always. So it's going to be the things that you're going to be wanting to do right now. So the bigger priority is going to be more portals, more dungeons, because those are now a viable option in the game, and you can create those keys and other people can create them. So you're going to be seeing a lot more dungeon runs with better loot. So that's going to be your big go-to. All right, so that's just kind of my initial impressions, really, of this 1.1 patch after having played it for, you know, however many hours it's been up. I'm definitely loving it. It's fantastic. There's a lot of new enemies as well that I have seen. I've seen these weird, like, stag or deer type enemies in places that I never saw them before. I'm seeing new items. I found a named Void Gauntlet earlier that I ended up scrapping because it didn't have good stats, but it was definitely new. And I noticed that a lot of enemies in the world are harder. Like, even the gates, like the gate that you destroy to get into somewhere, was like super legendary and took a long time for us to kill for some reason. And a lot of the monsters seem to be turning into some sort of raid bosses that have super HP scaling. It's wild out there. So everything's hitting harder. Everything seems to be more difficult, which I enjoy. I like that challenge. It makes you want to group up and fight things and turn them. And I'm really excited to get in to see some of these sieges as well, because we know that the Spriggan was nerfed and a whole bunch of other cool stuff. So we might actually have people beating the sieges consistently now, since you might be able to deal with some of these things that are coming into the game. But yeah, if you haven't already, check it out. I highly recommend this Great Axe Void Gauntlet. I think it pairs well. It adds a lot of utility to a very powerful weapon, which generally you will have out majority of the time anyways, so applying it with the Void Gauntlet makes a lot of sense. Getting that free life leech, getting that free empowerment, and getting a way to stop your opponent from getting away from you definitely combos very well. I'm interested to see all the other uses and applications for it, as I'm sure it has a ton, and it can range from literally any weapon, so this is a really good utility weapon. I like it a lot. So, with that being said, if you haven't already and you enjoy the content on this channel, make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell down below. We have a join button as well, and we also have a Discord in the description link. Make sure to check that one out. We will see you in the next one. Thanks for your time, and we'll catch you later.